Hey everyone, this is Scott from Forgot to Grow Up. Welcome to another edition of ReWatching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Today I'm talking about Season 5, Episode 17, The Honeymoon. I'm just going to start off by talking about the plot summary, then talking about my general thoughts after having just finished rewatching this episode. So yeah, that plot summary says Ruby pursues Coulson and Talbot in the mountains, but Daisy arrives in time to save them. Deke, in an attempt to cover for Daisy, is shot by Hale and her men, forcing S.H.I.E.L.D. to retreat. Deke is taken back to the lighthouse where Mac and Piper operate on him and successfully save him. May confronts Coulson about his recent actions and eventually admits her feelings for him. Ruby, furious about her mother's attitude, decides to rebel and lock Hale in her cell while she takes over and works with Strucker. Fitz, Simmons, and Yo-Yo travel to a Hydra facility in England where they find the particle infusion chamber. Fitz damages one of the components to render it useless, but they are then surrounded by the robot soldiers. Yo-Yo attempts to escape and call for backup, but is forced to fight Ivanov. As she emerges victorious, she learns that Ivanov's body is linked to all the robots, thus is able to disable them altogether. However, Ruby and Strucker arrive and decide to capture Fitz and Simmons in order to have them repair the infusion chamber. Meanwhile, Daisy helps Talbot contact his family, but unknowingly helps activate his brainwashing through his wife, who has been compromised by Hydra. So yeah, I just finished rewatching this episode, and I liked this episode because it had a good amount of action in it. We get a good amount of Talbot, who's still struggling to come to terms with what he's been through and still trying to put himself together, which I really enjoy. I love Talbot's character, so I like the focus on him. I feel so bad because at the end of the episode, he does get kind of the brainwashing gets reactivated in him, and we go from there with what he does. But I like seeing the kind of growth of his character. Speaking of growth of characters, though, Fitzsimmons, those two are just, they see it themselves. They have come a long way. Fitz says it when they're, about to head off, and they have come so far since the beginning. I've mentioned it a bunch of times in this rewatch series, but these two are like my favorite characters, and I love the growth they go throughout this show. And this episode, just a perfect example of it. First season, they would have had no shot at this mission, but now, even though they do know technically that they think that they're invulnerable, that they still have grown so much and are now like legit agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. so who can hold their own in a gunfight with a bunch of robot soldiers. So that's just, I just love that about it. I just love that they've grown so much, and that you see that and you believe it too. It wasn't that like they made just a quick turn at some point. You've seen the little progression, all the little things that have forced them to be, step out of the lab and into the field. So I just, this episode I thought was great, kind of little showing of that, and I think that was kind of the point of it. Obviously it's titled The Honeymoon, so it's kind of, I think it was meant to kind of show you that growth of these two characters and how far they've come, and I just love that. So yeah, that was a great part. We also got Daisy versus Ruby in this one, just a quick little fight, but it was still kind of a fun little showdown to see. We got Mac operating on Deke, which was just a little entertaining, just because Simmons isn't around because she's off with Fitz, and so Mac has to step up, and that's what's great about Mac. Mac is always willing to step up, even when he's frustrated and annoyed, because people die if Mac doesn't step up, and that's why he steps up, and that's why Mac's awesome. Yeah, that was great. The May and Coulson talk, ending with May admitting her feelings for Coulson, and I particularly like that she's just like, I thought that shut you up, and then walks away, and I'm like, that's so May. That's so very May. And I just like that, and I like that this is where we kind of start to see them kind of finally starting to take those steps towards where they end up at the end of this season. Yeah, and then the last thing I had written down was just the Yo-Yo versus Ivanov fight, which was just a fun fight. The fact that Ivanov comments on the fact that she's now got robotic arms, but that he's all robotic and doesn't feel pain, but then she's like, so much for Superior, when she kicks his ass out of a window. So I just thought it was a fun fight, and just like I said, this was added to the fun action of this episode. But yeah, that's all my general thoughts for this episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Be sure to let me know in the comments below what you thought about this episode. Thanks again for joining me today. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and have a good one.